The Nation of Yahweh presents The Unfolding Light. Today's show is brought to you by Builders of the Highway Foundation, Yahweh Life Center, Neo Jazz School of Music, Yahweh Education Centers, and the Temple of Brothers and Sisters of Goodwill. And now for your host, Dr. Lud Yisrael.
Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to the Nation of Yahweh's weekly teleconference, The Unfolding Light. We are back from outer space, and we talked to our Father, and he said, "Great job, family." It is time for us to know and recognize that we are doing the work of Yahweh. We are doing his will. We are keeping his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments. And we are having the joy that only Yahweh can give. Praise Yahweh. Today on Unfolding Light, we'll have also my co-host, Sister Tamar, Boker Tov, sister.
Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Well, praise Yahweh. How you been all this week?
I've been great. It's good to be present with you all.
Praise Yahweh.
And known that I'm here.
No, that's right. We're excited today. We have a wonderful show for you today. Today on Unfolding Light, we'll have Who is Yahweh by the Most Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Directly after that, we'll have a keynote message from the Master Teacher, the founder of the Nation of Yahweh. And after that, we'll have the part where we all take part in unfolding the light, and we call it Power Talk. And now I invite you all to stand and face the east as we open up this episode of the Unfolding Light with a prayer to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. And now for our prayer. If we will all stand and face the east with outstretched hands, O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, and deliver us from this heathen, so that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praises. Blessed be the holy name of Yahweh and Yisrael forever. O Yahweh, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Let our enemies be dismayed, but let not us be dismayed. Bring upon our enemies the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. O Yahweh, forgive our fathers for breaking your laws, and please forgive us for breaking your laws. Help us to never bring shame upon thy great name, nor reproach against thy works. For surely we have turned ourselves to thee, O Yahweh, trying to be upright. And as we confess our faults, please grant us protection against all of our faults. Cleanse us of our secret faults and guide us to the best of morals. For surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths are all for thee, O Yahweh. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteraka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Vashemayim came by Aretz, Et Lekum Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosa Sol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh.
Remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
Praise Yahweh. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is a name that you should know because it's the duty of the Son of God to proclaim his Father's name. And here you have a whole bunch of people going to church, 400,000 churches, and they don't know the name of the Father. They say such silly things like, Father, God, help me. Both of them titles. Father is a title, God is a title. Who's going to answer to that? The purpose of the coming of the Son is to reveal the name of the Father. That's who he prayed to, our Father, and he called his name. He said, hallowed be, holy be thy name. How can it be holy to you and you don't know it? Interesting, isn't it? There are a lot more interesting questions than that about that situation. But when you begin to read your Bible, as I call this to your attention, you will discover from the Old Testament of Genesis all the way through Revelations, it's all about the name of the Father. It's all about his name. But somebody got you calling some other kind of name other than the Father's name. And you don't know his name. And unless you learn his name, then you're never going to move from poverty to riches. And if you don't come into the knowledge of the name. Haven't you ever wondered why it is that you have the same God, have the same churches, and the same names that white people have? I mean, have you noticed? You do. Our people have the same, right? Isn't it strange how God always answers white people's prayers? And black folks' prayers don't seem to be the same magnitude. You know, you say, well, I get my prayers answered. Well, why don't you ever get answered to be the ruler? I mean, you know, my people are always on their knees in front of white people asking white people to let them be accepted. Why do you need to ask white people for acceptance? Why don't you just ask God? Doesn't your God have enough power to make you accepted? Why can't you be the people that everybody else wants to be among? Why are you always running after somebody else to be among them? What's wrong with your God? Why do you have to go around always on your knees with your hat in your hand begging for a job from white people? Why don't your God just give you some jobs? Oh, I have to ask you some serious questions because white people move from poverty to riches every day. Huh? They come from Russia. They come from Europe. They come from England. They come from all over the world with nothing on the ship. Come and get in your neighborhood. Come with a buggy and a basket and a wagon and push it around in your neighborhood and move from poverty to riches out of your pockets. You live in the neighborhood and stay poor and just pray all the time. You prayed enough to rule all the world. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is the God of the Bible. He's the God of the Hebrews. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth. Yahweh is the man that beat up on Pharaoh. Y'all remember how he put plagues in Egypt? That was Yahweh did that. Yahweh is the one that when Pharaoh got real sassy, he drowned him in the Red Sea. That's Yahweh who did it. Yahweh is the man that when Daniel refused to bow down to another nation and quit facing the east and praying, when he refused to stop praying to his God, which was Yahweh, they said, well, we're going to put you in the lion's den and starve them. Threw him in the lion's den. Yahweh locked the jaws of the lion. Lions could do him no harm. Rulers got scared. Came and got Daniel out and made him a ruler. Right? I just want you to know who Yahweh is. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars, all what you see and haven't seen. Okay. So who is Yahweh ben Yahweh? I am his son. I am his son. That's who I am. I am the son of Yahweh. I don't care who else is the son or who else it makes me no difference. I'm not here tonight concerning myself with who is the son of who. I'm the son of Yahweh. I have to tell you who I am. Yahweh is my father. I am his son. What makes me his son? What makes me Yahweh's son is I do not have a will outside of his. I have no thoughts, no ideas, and no program outside of Yahweh. You'll find that all that I ever do, all that I've ever done, and all that I'm ever going to do is found right in the Bible, and it's traced right to his will. No exception. I take no credit for all that I have built. It's all in his name. Yuhei-Wafe. That's one of the things that make me his son. Also, I have no difference in his word. I only speak his words. Even the words I've spoken to you thus far, the principles of those words are all in the Bible. Every single one of them is found in the Bible. No exceptions. So I walk as he says walk. I talk as he says talk. I act as he says act. I do whatever he says do. I have no idea of doing it any other way. Those are the things that makes me his son. I obey his laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That's why I'm successful. He said in his holy word that if I obey his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, that he would make everything, all the works of my hand would prosper. So all the works of my hands, it's prospering. I'm telling you why. Now, what about you? You might say, well, if you're the son of Yahweh, can I be? Of course you can. Of course you can be the sons of Yahweh. Every one of you can be. Every one of you can be the daughters of Yahweh. All you have to do is like I do. Obey his will, just like I do. You automatically become. You believe on his name, then you have eternal life. There's no other name under heaven that you can be saved in other than God who created it. You can't be saved in no name but the name of the one who created everything. And he gave his son a name higher than all the angels in heaven. What's the name higher than all the names that the angels could possibly have? The Father's name. There can be no name higher than the Creator's. So the son has to come in his father's name. Just like if your name is Davis, then your father was named Davis. If your name is Smith, your father's name was Smith. My name is Yahweh, so my father's name is Yahweh. That's logical.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for coming to us and teaching us who is Yahweh as no one else ever could do. Praise Yahweh. Also, I want to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for teaching us our true history, which used to be the world's best kept secret. Praise Yahweh. And now a brief bio on the master teacher, the founder of the nation of Yahweh, the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Yahweh Ben Yahweh came to Miami, Florida alone in 1979 to become the spiritual leader and founder of the nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty that same year, within 7 years, he guided the nation and those who followed his teachings and principles to amass an economic empire in the greater Miami area and throughout the United States worth over $250 million. Under his direction, the nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, believers, and supporters in thousands of cities across the United States of America and indeed throughout the four corners of the earth. The University of Yahweh, for which he has established the curriculum and for which he has received great acclaim in educational excellence, currently has locations across the United States. The moral teachings of Yahweh Ben Yahweh is bringing about a change in the lives of individuals and causing them to take a different approach to life. This approach is based on the scripture which reads, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Yahweh ben Yahweh continues to give. That which he has given cannot be measured in monetary wealth. Yahweh ben Yahweh has given the world the keys to success in life, politically, educationally, economically, socially, and spiritually. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, the architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate, the founder of the nation of Yahweh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh.
I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, "Who is it?" I don't mind telling you, Yahweh ben Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm, it's a severe storm headed your way. And it's called the fall of Satan. And this is the time of Jacob's trouble. It really is coming from the God of heaven. Now, if you don't believe that, that's okay too, but somebody still has to come and bear witness to the earth that this is genuine. That's what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you, look up in your dictionary the name Yahweh. Look up in your encyclopedias, look in Bible Interpreter's Dictionary. Look this name up and you'll discover Yahweh is the God of the Bible. Now, it's up to you to search that out. You can't sit back and say, I didn't tell you to look it up. Neither can you say, I told you to believe it because I said it. Here's a name that's written down in books before any of us were born in this present body. That is the ancient God of Israel. And his name is Yahweh. He's the one that has built this city, Yahweh. This great city, holy Jerusalem. Yahweh is the architect. The great architect of the universe built this. And I'm here on the earth to bear witness, this is so. And it's truly coming. And I'm showing you that there's a group of people that's not going to be allowed inside. All unholy folk won't be inside. Now guess what? Most unholy people don't want to come inside. So when I come to the earth to warn the earth that this is coming, it's not to try to change the mind of unholy people. It's to allow them the same opportunity I did in the days of Noah. They were allowed to make a choice, but Yahweh had Noah build a ship that wouldn't take care of the whole earth. Wonder why? He knew they wouldn't choose. That's how smart Yahweh is. Now, this Bible tells you it's going to be the same way today as it was then. Matthew chapter 24, verse 37. I have to tell you this. There are people who will take a vow to Yahweh, and after they take it, walk away from Yahweh. Now, there's only one way a person can do that. He never believed in Yahweh in the first place. And never believe in the promise of Yahweh. In other words, this is the person who believes Yahweh is impotent. You know, doesn't have the power to manifest his will. So they returned to the world to live it up, as we see here in Matthew 24:37. Read.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man, Yahweh ben Yahweh, be.
Now, I wonder what it's going to be like. Now, this is the way it was in Noah's day. Now, read the next verse, verse 38. Read.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Now, what kind of mind are unholy folk going to have? It's in the next verse. What's going to be the results? Read.
And knew not until the flood came and took them all away.
How many?
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man, Yahweh ben Yahweh, be.
Now, if you look around, you'll see that every chair is not taken. You know why? Because they don't want to hear about heaven. People have more important things to do than to hear about the great city, holy Jerusalem, coming down from heaven, from Yahweh. They'd rather be out there eating, going to different restaurants tonight, drinking all kinds of expensive wine and liqueurs, marrying, shacking, laying. Well, it's the truth, right? I mean, everybody's tricking everybody so they can get away and lay with somebody else and tell you how sweet stolen waters are. Now go back to Revelation 21, because see, all these kind of folk are not going to be in this great city. People that like the lifestyle of Matthew 24:37 through 39. They're not interested in New Jerusalem. But I'm come to bear witness to the whole earth. For who? For those who want out of hell. And when I come, I don't come and just attract those that are good. Wish I did, but it's not working like that. It's written that it wouldn't work out like that. Let's go to Job and see that when I come, go to Job chapter 1. Let me show you what I have to go through in coming to get the sons of God. See, when the sons of Yahweh come, you can't come by yourself. People that don't like me come too. Yeah, they come with you. People that hate what I'm doing come with you that love what I'm doing. They hate what I'm doing and come anyway. They don't come to help me build up the kingdom of heaven. They come to take heaven away from you and seek to destroy you in the process. Now let's go to Job chapter 1, verse 6. Let's check out what's going on around here today. Read.
Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before the Lord Yahweh, and Satan came also among them.
See what's going on? We have proof too. We have proof of people coming here saying they love me, eat at my table, sleep with my daughters, leave me their kids to take care of. Yes. And then go out and join our open oppressor and try their best to destroy me. And all I did was good. And all I did was good to them. But see, it tells you who they are, Satan. And you have proof of what I taught you from the beginning, that Satan is black, brown, red, yellow, and white. But see, white devils didn't come in here and pretend to love me. They don't even pretend like that. They didn't come and pretend not for a minute. Black devils came. And then you know who the white devils are. They're the ones that only want to hear what the black devils who hate me have to say. And that's all they'll put in the paper or say on television is what my enemy, my hypocrite, one who wants to destroy what I'm doing, that's the only one they want to hear. That's all they quote. And then they want to ask me questions about what do I think about some hypocrite statement. I wear them out now. That's why I haven't been. They interview me, but I don't be on TV now.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for this message. This message is bearing witness that Yahweh's promise, all is coming, but there's so many people who don't want to really be there. They don't want to live there. They don't want the benefits of Yahweh's promise. They believe in the devil. It's plain and simple. And they would rather have the evil things that's going on around about us right now instead of moving out of this hell into heaven, into New Jerusalem. But we have that and a lot more to talk about from this message. But before we get to it, we do have a word from our sponsors. Praise Yahweh.
Praise unto Yahweh and Yahweh Ben Yahweh. From the nation of Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
So glad I'm with Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
Step on into
YahwehRadio.com.
Let nobody
turn me away from Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh is a great God and a great King above
YahwehRadio.com.
Neo Jazz School of Music is an educational institute whose primary purpose is to rescue our children through music and the arts. Music and arts programs are scientifically proven to expand the intellectual capacity of the student in areas such as math and science. In addition, students of music and the arts make for well-rounded, productive members of society, no matter what career path they choose. Neo Jazz School of Music currently provides education and training to community youth in the greater New Orleans area.
Get it up! Yay! Oh my gosh, we accomplished life!
Yeah.
Yahweh Virtual University has completed its beta phase. We are so thankful to Yahweh for all of our supporters because we could not have done it without you. We are excited to say that our beta phase was a true success. Those that participated in our beta testing enjoyed self-paced and interactive learning online, live online classes with our YVU teachers, assistance with structuring and setting up their homeschool. Our students had so much fun learning with their classmates, and they enjoyed daily homework and so much more. During our beta phase, we gathered useful information and feedback from all of you. According to the needs of our children and our nation as a whole, we received a large amount of requests for online learning to support children between the ages of 8 and 15, as well as online classes for parents and adults. We at Yahweh Virtual University heard you loud and clear. In order to provide these much needed requests, and because we are a small team, we have paused our online classes for now and are back in our building phase. Again, we are truly thankful to all of our supporters, and we want you to know that we are taking this duty to rescue our future very seriously. Please visit our website for more updates and be blessed. Praise Yahweh forever.
Well, praise Yahweh. Builders of the Highway Foundation and the Nation of Yahweh invites you to join us for a fellowship, North Hollywood Beach, on tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Hollywood, Florida. We'll be joining together at Loggerhead Park, which is located at 4008 North Ocean Drive. Again, that's tomorrow, a fellowship on North Hollywood Beach. Come and enjoy a fun-filled day at the beach. We'll have food, family, and music. Unwind and fellowship with us at Loggerhead Park, 4008 North Ocean Drive. We encourage you to bring a dish and help make this event a glorious one. So come early to guarantee parking. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. at North Loggerhead Park. Praise Yahweh.
Want to see your face in the place.
Want to see your face in the place. We'll be there with you in spirit.
Well, I have to text everybody a picture of me for them to see my face.
That's right. That's right.
In the place, so looking for a text. Just kidding. Anyway, praise Yahweh. I want to thank our family around the Hollywood area for fellowshipping together in brotherly love, sisterly love, the love of Yahweh that Yahweh taught us. With this, all man shall know that you're my disciples when you show love one to another. Well, we love each other, and we would truly love to move in to our new city.
Holy Jerusalem.
That Yahweh prepared for and is coming down to us. Yahweh ben Yahweh said, it's real. And I trust the words of the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. I trust every word he speaks. And he said he came to this planet to bear witness that it's truly coming. So my goal is to live in that city. I'm not one of those folks who don't want to be in the city because I got to stop doing all my dirt. But Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us that most folks don't want to live in that city because they like the world as it is. And Then he gave us a scripture about as it was in the days of Noah, how these people are going to be swept away by the flood. Well, the flood is everybody believing when the devil say do something and they do it. You know, they say do this, they do it. Oh, it's a meteor coming that's going to destroy half of the earth, move to the other side, and people will do it. You know, people do whatever they told because they trust in Satan's government, as opposed to do what Yahweh say because you trust in Yahweh. See, there's two branches of knowledge. The tree of good and evil, that's Satan. And the tree of life, that's the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. He is the tree of life. And he came in the flesh and delivered this word to us. We just watched him deliver this word to us that he's here to bear witness that all of what Yahweh promised that he is able to fulfill. All these promises to his children. That's like making a promise to your children. You know, the worst thing you can do is promise something to your children and not do it. You know how long your children
hold it over your head.
Hold that over your head.
And now, especially the little ones, they'll ask you
Especially.
every hour
Every hour, every
until
day.
you get an answer.
So Yahweh came to bear witness, Yahweh ben Yahweh came to bear witness to the children of Yahweh that, yes, Yahweh is telling the truth. You know, it's funny, Yahweh always tell the truth. And that this city is coming. You know, but the scripture also tells us about us inheriting cities that are already built. Because the people who built those cities will be swept away in the flood. Now, I think that I need to explain something, and no more than to myself. The thing that we have to realize that the hell and the turmoil that we're facing is very, very short-lived. And the scriptures talk about us enduring to the end. That's overcoming the world. See, when the world passed away, when this world passed away, if you're part of it, you pass away with it. If you overcome this world, then everything will be fine for you. Just like everything was fine for the children of Israel when Yahweh led us out of Egypt. He fed us, he kept us alive until we just turned away from him, and that whole generation had to die out. But our children, our progeny, they went on into the promised land. And they conquered and they took it. And they did exactly what Yahweh told them to do for a spell, for a time, you know. So anyway, after this hell, after this turmoil, after this defeating of the devil, kicking the devil off the earth, after that transpired, then we're talking about peace and harmony. And we're talking about all nations that are left coming to learn the law, statute, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh so that their societies can be perfect too. Now, that's what we endeavoring. We had to purge ourselves. This is the purge, like that movie where they just say you can go and do all kinds of crazy. No, that's the devil's purge. Our purge is to get the devil out of our minds. We don't need him to feed us. We can feed ourselves in one room in our house. You know, in the corner of a room, we can grow enough food to feed ourselves. Literally. We can hydroponic, we can have a fish tank and do aquaponic, a fish tank with goldfish and grow food. Go ahead, sister. I see you trying to get in here.
Wow. Yahweh ben Yahweh gave us so much in today's message. I mean, so much. And the things that you're sharing really directs my attention to something critical. I feel like that was lifted out in today's message. Yahweh ben Yahweh is here to tell us about the name Yahweh. It's up to you to look it up. Yahweh is the ancient God of Yisrael, as you described how Yahweh delivered us from the hands of Pharaoh back in those days. He's the same God, same power to deliver us from the hells of North America today. Yahweh is the great architect of Holy Jerusalem.
Ooh, the great architect.
Yahweh is the great architect of Holy
Wait,
Jerusalem.
now let's compare that with some of Yahweh's other works real quick. Just, he's the architect of the universe. The architect of the universe built us a city. Ooh.
There's so much to unpack in that too, but
go for it.
let me proceed. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here to bear witness that Holy Jerusalem will be so. And all unholy people can't come inside of Holy Jerusalem. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here to give everyone the same opportunity they had in the days of Noah. Yahweh knew and understood.
Everybody didn't want to go on the ship.
Everybody wasn't going to choose to get on the ship, and hence made a ship
that couldn't hold them.
Hence, he's the great architect of the universe, the great architect of Holy Jerusalem. He's here.
Noah those specs for the ark. He gave him the blueprints.
And these people believe that Yahweh is impotent. And so something really resonated in that last element of this, and it really is a thing that is really throughout the course of this discourse, that Yahweh has the power. And in this word impotent is the root word potent.
Right. Either potentate.
And so for these folks, they don't want to believe that Yahweh delivered the children of Israel back in the days of Pharaoh.
A documentary on they debating it because they don't want to acknowledge the truth.
Not to acknowledge the truth.
So their science don't add up.
They have made it where their science will not add up
unless they acknowledge our history, our true history when we came out of Egypt.
They choose not to believe that Yahweh is the architect of the universe. They want to give credit to some big anonymous big bang
explosion,
right? All the while, all of this, there's a common theme. They deny the power of Yahweh. And time after time after time, Yahweh is not a man that he should lie. He proves his power.
Well, they're teaching us, they're doing their best to teach us, the children of Yahweh, that Yahweh is impotent. That's the thing. They say, no, you went in slavery because of us. We are the people who put you in slavery. We the people who hire you. We the people who set programs up for you. We the people, we're your God. They even get you to believe in a false image that looks like them. And we know Yahweh Ben Yahweh carried that picture around and said about this false image. He always would hold that picture up in interviews and say how we were taught that false image and that false name so that we would worship the people that looks like that. But what you're saying is that all of that was for us to not remember how potent our God is. From when he delivered us in Egypt, we saw him. We saw Yahweh. We saw Yahweh's mothership on the mountain. He led us in the desert. And day and night, we could see him. He could see the ship. This wasn't no, story. Those people actually saw it. We saw the glory of Yahweh Ben Yahweh. We still see his glory as we watch him today deliver the message that he's here to bear that witness. And that Yahweh is potent. You can believe that God don't exist all you want to, but Yahweh has shown himself to be the only God that exists, and everybody know the story of the children of Israel and the Exodus from Egypt.
And that really is going back around to another critical point, because on one side of this discourse is people who are choosing to be unholy.
Mhm.
On the other side of this discourse is there are people who will choose to be Yisrael and be holy. And Yahweh knows that to be true also,
Mhm.
because he's building and has built holy Jerusalem for
And-
those who choose.
And I'm sure the city is not big enough to hold everybody on the planet.
Just as it
Pretty
was,
sure.
yeah, I'm pretty sure, just as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man.
That's
So we
right.
see this
The unfolding of the light. the
this
scenario
light
unfolding.
unfolding. We're experiencing it, and Yahweh being Yahweh is here to bear witness that this will be so.
And this is here.
And he gave us and activated us with this insight, this knowledge. He told us to go look it up. And he gave us a governing practice, which is 2 Timothy 2:15, to study to show thyself approved. And so we can go be workmen and understand and know what it means to overcome the world, as you lifted out earlier in the conversation.
Now, I don't know if everybody knows, but the city is locked up and you need the key.
That's right.
The key is ethics. The key is ethics. It's a master key. It opened all the doors in New Jerusalem. It opened all the doors in heaven. Praise Yahweh. It's a master key to heaven. Ethics. Go ahead, you were saying.
And that's been the common theme in this whole series of the teachings, is how you have to have, and we have to practice ethical behavior in order to inherit cities. Now, what Yahweh has like crescendo this to is that the holy city that we shall inherit by being holy,
right,
and choosing the mind of Yahweh, is we inherit holy Jerusalem.
You know, there's a series on YouTube right now called No Crime, Zero Crime in This City, No Evil People Allowed. It's a series on YouTube and on TikTok of the master teacher teaching this very subject. You got to find it and look at it. Find it. Go to the Nation of Yahweh's YouTube channel. Go to Dr. Lou's TikTok channel, and you'll see these things where Yahweh ben Yahweh is teaching that, because there are a lot of righteous people out there just looking for how they must be righteous. You know how people be like, what's the meaning of life? Why am I created? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? Well, there's so many people out there looking for those things, and the answer came to us in the flesh. And he said for us to go into all nations now and spread this word. And we're in all nations. We're all over the planet, because social media make us able to be all over the planet by sitting at your house and at your desk, and you're all over the world. These things are all over, broadcasted all over the world.
Yes, sir. And what's so amazing, what's so amazing about the coming of the Son of Man, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is that he not only came to bear witness, he came and gave us, those of us who will hear, who will listen and learn of the divine mind of Yahweh, a way, an ark of understanding to overcome this world. You know, the word ark is also has other meanings, and so we'll dig into that here shortly. But an ark of understanding to give us a way to overcome these circumstances that we see all around us. You know, it says here, as it was in the days of Noah, we see the conditions. In Matthew chapter 24, verses 37, 38, it reads, but as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And then on to 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
So that's telling us now, right
now,
that the flood is taking our people away. If you notice the flood of paganism, the flood of wickedness, the flood of pride, in wickedness, you proud of being wicked. You're so proud that you want to announce it everywhere you go in a pronoun. It's a wave that is taking our people away. This flood is not water. The water is knowledge. The water is people. The water is take this medicine and live. Take this mark of the beast and be happy. Do all of these things that these so-called globalists are just steamrolling through all these societies. It started with they planned this, and there's so much knowledge and wisdom about their plan for Agenda 21. There's so much knowledge out there. Tamar and myself, we read the Agenda 21 over 10 years ago, and everything they said, they did. Now, how is it that 10 years ago, they could say that this was going to happen in 2020? And then it happened when it was supposed to be happenstance. When it's supposed to be just, anyway, go ahead. You want to interject?
Well, just going back to the word art, because it's so much we can unfold in this conversation. But Yahweh has given us an ark, and Yahweh ben Yahweh has led us to this ark. You look at just the basic definition, ARC dictionary.com. It has 3 noun definitions: a part of the circumference of a circle or other curve. 2, a luminous electrical discharge between 2 electrodes or other points. 3, the development or resolution of a narrative or principal theme.
Say that one again.
The development or resolution of the narrative or principal theme.
They call that a story arc in a movie or any
play
type of play
or novel.
Right, they call it a story arc.
Book.
Right, and our true story, we at the arc, we at the pinnacle of the arc now, because after this destruction of the devil, we're in harmony forever. We go back to that hundreds of thousands of years of peaceful existence in the garden. Yes, Adam and Eve wasn't at the beginning of the garden. They were at the end of the garden. They lived hundreds of thousands of years. There was no death in the garden. Think about that. So we go on the ark now, once we pass this scenario, and this is what I'm talking about. If you believe wholeheartedly and you trust wholeheartedly in Yahweh, then once the devil is destroyed, then that's when it's time for us to be righteous and rule ourselves at the very least. We're not subject to the police hitting us in the head, or a new ordinance enacted in your city, and a new taxation without representation, or a new healthcare mandate and all those things. All those hellish things that keep everybody's mind agitated and stayed on terrestrial base-minded stuff, so they would never see the beauty of the terrestrial, of Yahweh, of the celestial of Yahweh. All we can see is the terrestrial. What we got to get on that grind. It's a rat race. We got to get back to work, got to make our money. All of those things is the distraction from the spiritual thing. The spiritual thing governs all those things. If your spirit is in the right place, all those things that come out right. Sister, you were about to say?
And just really understanding how, and listening to us know that this story is unfolding before our eyes.
Unfolding light.
Yahweh being Yahweh is here to bear witness. So when as we listen and reflect on the teachings and these offerings, we see these things manifest this day, and also have faith and confidence. We move confidently with the understanding because we have that knowledge, we have that foresight. He's seen this story unfold and has bear witness to us the things that are to come and the things that will be. And then it's up to us to look it up, that what we shall be,
right?
What shall we be in the day, in that day?
How do we fit in?
Exactly. So I just want to continue to fold this back into the understanding that Yahweh being Yahweh came bearing the truth for us. And we just have to choose to be holy. We have to choose to be righteous. We have to choose to be ethical so that we are able to inherit these cities.
Well, first of all, you know, they always say never trust a man that says trust me, right? Because if he's trustworthy, his deeds show forth his trustworthiness. He don't have to convince you to trust him. So when you talk about trusting in man or trusting in Yahweh, it's a no-brainer for intelligent people, even if they don't want to trust in Yahweh. It's still they know that they'll do better in trusting in Yahweh. But there's wicked people that oppose Yahweh, and their job is to get Yahweh's children to oppose Yahweh too. They know they living in hell, they created hell, they're hellish people, they're not allowed in the city, they're not allowed in heaven, and they know that. They have already conceded to the fact that they will not be in heaven, so now their job is to trick you into staying with them in hell. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So these people believe that Yahweh is impotent. And so when you look up the root of this word impotent, you understand that M means not having or without. Potent means having great power, influence, or effect. So influence, I want to lift that out. Yahweh prescribes a way of life for you through his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments. To demonstrate the power of Yahweh, the influence of these laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments on our behavior demonstrates the power of Yahweh.
Demonstrate is a demonstration. We saw in the flesh a demonstration of the power of Yahweh. And see, Yahweh could have did it any way he wanted to, but he know we needed an economic demonstration of the power of Yahweh, how he can take you from nothing and you can build a kingdom, an empire, a wealthy empire off the law, statute, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh. By keeping those law, statute, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh, you can build an empire. We saw it in the flesh. Most honorable Yahweh be Yahweh did it. So he is our God. He is our guide, our demonstration reference. But I see it's time that we had asked the family that if you'd like to join into the conversation, feel free to partake in Power Talk.
It is now Power Talk.
Power Talk.
So if you're dialed into the Zoom conference, all you have to do is press *6 to unmute yourselves. Or if you're on the Zoom app, just press that little microphone or raise your hand to be acknowledged to participate in Power Talk.
And this is a powerful talk. So, you know, when you think about the choices, Joshua 24:15, choose you this day, who you gonna serve? And it's one of those days we just went through a situation to where it was beating the drum, trust the science, trust the devil, trust the devil, trust the devil. And we know the devil is a liar. And now all of the lies that he told during that time is just openly for anybody who want to open their eyes and see all the lies that was told during that the devil told, that the science told, that they were doing it just for a money grab, and it was the biggest transfer of wealth in modern history, from the regular common people to the billion trillionaire class because of this situation. It's just, you know, that's the wave of water, you know, that's sweeping people away. It's they fearing this and they fearing that, and they doing things that's going to cause their demise.
Like buying a bunch of tissue.
Yeah, buying a bunch of toilet tissue. For what purpose?
We don't
know. I don't know.
Just go buy tissue.
Buy tissue and okay, and they go and have fights. People fighting at the store for tissue because they said it. Well, that's an experiment that was successful, because you see how society panicked. See how society panicked when they said, "Oh, it's something out there gonna kill everybody." Well, if you fear death, you bound. Those are the words of the most honorable Yahweh and Yahweh. You can't, Satan, you can't threaten me with death to get me to denounce Yahweh. You can't say I'm gonna throw you in this fiery furnace if you don't pray to my God. Well, you'll be throwing me in the fiery furnace, because my God will take me home and protect me. Either way, I'm fine. You know.
Well, what's so beautiful about having the example that Yahweh being Yahweh showed us, the influence and the demonstration of power that we experience, was showing how we're able to be self-sufficient, right? And so having the power of self-sufficiency is a strategy that supports you no matter the external economic situations. And so we learn what it means to modify our household spending, to buy and purchase things that are necessary, and really use the currency for what it's for, and not to indulge in things that we see in this society.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
I was just thinking while you were saying that the last 2-3 years of the shutdown and all this kind of stuff, and when you think about the shortages and all of these things, you know who was not affected at all in this country? The Amish. They grew their food, they did their society, they was not affected. There was no shortage, there was no shutdown, there was no effect to them at all, because they're not living in this society. They have their own way of life, their own society, horses and wagons. They do their own thing. They go at a pace of the 1700s. You know, they're not in the rat race fast and got to drive fast. And I got to get the latest cell phone. None of that stuff they into. And so when all of this stuff happened, they went on society just like they have, not unaffected at all. Now that's a conscious thought to where, could it be that this market of beasts in this society is all dependent on you being dependent on it?
An interesting thought, to say the least. If
you moved out into the country and bought your own farm and you grew and made your own soap, you grew your own food, you did your own, and you lived there peacefully, when the shutdown happened, you just doing the same thing you've been doing, living on your farm, feeding yourself, doing your thing. So the deception is that we need him, when we really don't need him, unless we want his hell. We want his resorts, and we want his, electric cars and Ferraris, and we want the things that the Satan provide for you. We're not talking about the items, because that's just items. We're talking about the lifestyle that people go after, that Satan attracts you with, the lifestyle of the rich and famous, those kind of things. So anyway, the point is just that we do not need Satan and none of his systems to survive.
Well, the practices of these statutes, judgments, commandments, and laws leads us to a conditioning that we develop to help us withstand certain challenges, right? We become conditioned to not seek out hell and attend hell activities as a way of entertaining ourselves. We believe in coming together at family fellowships,
Exactly.
breaking bread with one another,
Mhm.
sharing in the good news gospel of Yahweh, being in harmony with one another. Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Hollywood, Florida.
Hollywood Beach in Florida. So we definitely don't want to miss out on the things that are good and holy and for our benefit. So
Family, our line is open.
They sure are. And we do have a caller with their line unmuted.
Looks like we're trying to get one.
I believe that was Sister Yochebed Sarah. If you're
maybe not.
There you are.
Shalom, family. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yes, ma'am. Got
Praise
a little bit of background, not sure what.
Class. I just want to share Proverbs 4:1, which states, "Hear ye children, the instruction of a father, and attend to know understanding. For I give you," number 2 says, "For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law." So when Yahweh being Yahweh instructs us, as we've been discussing, on the things that have been taking place during the time of Noah, and he says, "Come out of here, my children." He said, "Come to Yahweh." Do we really understand what he's saying? As my brother just explained, okay, the Amish were not affected. Think about that. Why? They are not depending on this society. I have been literally watching Amish videos for the last week. And when he said that, I was blown away. I said, there you go. One mind. See, they depend on the land to feed them. They depend on what Yahweh provides every day. The sun that rises for their daylight, and when the sun goes down, they do what it's time to do when the sun goes down. And we all know it's not all of them that are still like that, but they still cause themselves to be self-sufficient, and they cause themselves to not worship whatever is going on in the world. And this is a powerful thing for us to learn right now, because if we understand that coming to Yahweh means coming to his creations, coming to everything that he made for us. That is the herbs that come from the land for healing. That is the sunlight that provides your vitamin D. That is the pure water that we can get directly from him when it rains. This is power, family. But guess what? We sit here and go to the doctor for our medicine, because as soon as you get the sniffles, oh, I need to get some antihistamine. As soon as you have a scratch, I need to go. No, study Yahweh. Study what he gave you. Study the beauty that's around you. And believe you me, you will discover that Yahweh has provided everything for you. Every single thing you need is from Yahweh. We just have to go to him. Praise Yahweh, family, for allowing me to share. Thank you so much.
Praise Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for allowing you to share, for allowing you the wisdom to share, because that's the point. Mm-hmm. That's a demonstration here how you can live in this century and not be of this century. That's, you can live in this world and not be of this world.
And I just did a couple of presentations, one soon to be released potentially today, but a workshop for another group in the Northeast, and it was post Juneteenth. And what we talked about in this workshop were how post Civil War, Black people set up intentional communities across the South. In Texas, they had what they call freedom colonies. Mm-hmm. And these areas where they had military enforcement, because by the time the enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation took place, and a regiment of about 1,800 soldiers landed in Galveston, well, I say landed, took foot in Galveston, Texas, because they had to walk, literally march on foot across the Carolinas to Galveston. And they set up armies after that, pretty much a regiment of about 20,000 soldiers across the Gulf states that allowed them to have security
for the community,
for those communities that they put together. So we have stories of our ability to do this. I mean, literally across the globe is a global thing. It's not just isolated to this landmass. I mean, we have examples of how we built nations across the planet. But what we have lost touch with is our power to be a nation. And Yahweh Ben Yahweh came and restored us back to that level of unity.
He created a microcosmic nation right here in the midst of America as a so-called Black man from the neighborhood, from
Hills of North America,
from slavery, from the downtrodden, being an American type of mindset. He overcame that mindset and took himself out of that. And within this whole system, he built a nation. He built a viable nation, the nation of Yahweh. We're part of that till this second we talk right now. We're part of the nation of Yahweh that he built. And we're continuing on the good works of this nation. And now it's time for us to continue to build. But we do have another caller.
We do have a caller with their line unmuted. Caller with your number ending in 5125. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. This is Sister Shatula from Nashville. Toto again for a wonderful show and for the sacrifice it takes to put on these shows. Just want to say that Yahweh Ben Yahweh, a consistent theme that I'm seeing, and I'm still pretty new in the faith, but he talks a lot about the perils of individualism. And you guys can correct me if I'm not putting proper emphasis where it belongs, but I hear him teaching that because this is getting back to what we're talking about today. The most expensive way to live is the white man's approach of individualism. It's the most expensive, the most stressful, and it's not even how the human being is made. We're meant to be social, to share, and the Amish, of course, represent that, but we ourselves, as late as the 1970s, there's an area in the Savannah, Hilton Head, all that area, where our people were isolated in those islands, and they lived among themselves. Even the wicked slave master wasn't always there because they couldn't take the heat, and they just had their city homes in Savannah or Charlotte or Charleston. But my point is, you can study this to this very day. As late as the 1970s, our people, and I'm sure a lot of us were still Hebrews, or at least we had the legacy of their culture. They lived collectively. They helped each other build each other's homes. They even had the same thing as in our Hebrew culture, where no land was sold. The land was inherited. And they literally went house to house, preaching and sharing. And this is the most sane way to live. And so if we can, while we can't all necessarily live together now or live close, I think ultimately that is something we'll need to do. But in the meantime, we can do what we can, with the co-ops and other things, because, people are afraid, and they're afraid in part because it costs so much to live, and if we realize this is a trick, this came from the British. Most people, ancient people in the world, didn't live individualistically like that. The monarchs and what have you, they could afford to have their own little 4 walls or 100 walls for their castles, because they had people to do the work for them. But we copied that, and now we have thousands of dollars a month to maintain for expenses, And people are really just working sometimes to pay the bills. The quality of life, everybody in the house working, it's just sick. So Toda for making sure we hear our Father's program. And, the Amish are not the only ones, but, they have retained a legacy. But we have a longer legacy. And not only that, we have a righteous legacy through our Father, Yahweh and Yahweh. So Toda for letting me share. And, I just appreciate everybody doing what they can in the stress of this foolish society to come out of it and begin to do what our Father told us to do. Okay, Toda.
Praise Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for your comment, and you're absolutely right. They're not the only ones. There's a society in Jamaica that moved into the mountains and kicked the white boys' butt back in the day, and they still living in their own society now, autonomous, away from that particular government. Did you have an occasion to visit?
I visited the Charlestown Maroon community in off of Portland, near Portland, Jamaica. And these folks operate a cultural center and a historical village to this very day, have their own internal commerce mechanisms. They're by the river, they have growing. So it's a lot of, they have a communal ground where they come together for their arts and culture.
So they don't pay for water. Yahweh provides
the river is right off the mountain, and it has there's a spring nearby where they get there and source their water. It was a beautiful experience to really return to Yahweh's creativity.
So family, it's so many examples around us, around about us, that we can be independent of our oppressor, of our captor, of our enslaver anytime we want to. We just want to turn away from his society and create and start our own. Well, that's what we're doing. That's what the Nation of Yahweh Nation Building Institute is all about. It's all about us coming together collectively, learning to cooperate, learning how to pool our resources. And then from that institute, we're going to come together and begin different co-ops, even co-ops of different areas across the country that are connected by our unity, and do business with each other, even in different areas. Like Yahweh Ben Yahweh demonstrated to us distribution with having the Yahweh tractor trailers, and we taking goods and literature and whatever from here to the next point to the next point. Also transportation, all of these things were demonstrated to us. Yes, ma'am.
Well, what's so ideal about the practice of cooperatives and the alignment with what we do as members of the Nation of Yahweh, Yahweh Ben Yahweh teaches us one God, one mind, one love, and one action. And so we approach this, like Sister Shatula pointed out, with removing ourselves from this idea of individualism and coming together with a sense of unity for a shared purpose. Now, what cooperatives do is they bring people who are from a variety of backgrounds together, but they have a shared purpose, and then they ground themselves in a set of core principles that govern how they behave and how they treat the cooperative. Now, at the end of the day, they all work for the best interest of the actual cooperative. These are practices. So as we are, practicing keeping the laws of Yahweh, there are ways that we can build economies through our connection to this practice. Cooperative businesses have supported the creation of a whole economy in Mondragon, Spain, in the Basque region of Spain. So there's
The whole
90,
community.
90% of that region's economy is ran by cooperatives.
And that means it's ran by the people
Is-
of that community.
Cooperatives are enterprises that are owned by the people who work for them or benefit from their services, its members.
Yes, indeed.
So what Yahweh has taught us is to practice in a shared sense of unity. And that practice is the very thing that can actually be our liberation as a people. All we have to do is really learn how to adhere to the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh, and use that as our foundation for how we come together in business, how we come together in community, how we come together in educating ourselves in every element of what we need to do in life. That's the course, and that's the actual foundation for cooperative practice, is a shared sense of unity and a shared purpose.
Yes, indeed. That's what it's all about, family. That's what the Nation Building Institute is about. And that's why we have to collectively learn. You know, we come together every Saturday morning, you know, and we unfold the light. We discuss the light that Yahweh Ben Yahweh has given us and the examples that he's given us, so that it'll stay on the forefronts of our minds, so that we can actually achieve this task of overcoming this world, of even becoming resurrected and not being dead. Because parts of us still be sleeping sometimes. You know, some parts of us be awake and some parts of us still be unconscious. Well, we have to continue to study to become fully conscious and aware, to know what we need to abstain from and get away from, and what we are to do to take care of ourselves. We do have another caller. Praise
Yes,
Yahweh.
we do. Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Praise
Shabbat
Yahweh.
shalom.
Shabbat
Welcome to Power
Shalom.
Talk. Welcome to Power Talk, sister.
Praise Yahweh Ben Yahweh, who is Yahweh in the flesh as the sun. And I hope it's not too loud in the background. I'm just getting some raw vitamin D in this morning.
No,
and
ma'am, it's not.
I'm just enjoying the Power Talk, and I'm just enjoying the message. I enjoyed the message that our Father gave this morning. And I'm just sitting here, you know, researching some things as I'm tuned in, and I'm just getting blown away because, you know, the word is just so powerful. You know, the word is definitely life. I mean, if you're down, it'll bring you up. If you're dead, it'll bring you back to life. And I just want to share a scripture about our choices, because it's all about our choices. And this is what gets us to the point where we are in. This is what puts us in a predicament, and it could be a good or bad predicament. And our choice landed us in a very bad situation today. And choices are always going to be in front of us. You know, as we live and go on from day to day, we're always going to have to choose. And there's really only two choices, and that's life or death. And, you know, the one, Yahweh is life, and the other fella is death. So whatever choice you make, we should always keep that in mind, that is this good for me? Is it going to be bad? Is this choice going to be good or bad? And I know that's not as easier. That's not as easy as it sounds, because sometimes when we choose, we may not know all of the ramifications that come with that choice. That's why he told us to do 2 Timothy 2:15. But the scripture that I would like to share is in the book of Isaiah, starting at verse 1 through about verse 5 or 6. And I just want to read that quickly because it's just so powerful, and so reassuring. You know, we don't have to worry about a thing. And that's what our Father has done for us if we choose him. And the whole planet has this opportunity. And it reads, starting at verse 1, "For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted. Is persecuted and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And I'm going to stop there. That was through verse 9, but this is just a beautiful chapter that leads up to Lucifer's falling. So if we choose Yahweh, we don't have to worry, because of course, choosing him doesn't mean that we sit down and do nothing and just say, oh, I choose him with our voice. That comes along your choice of whoever you choose, you serve. So if you choose a person, whether it's Lucifer or Yahweh, you choose to serve them and you choose to do what they say. So this is what we're doing. And so as long as we choose him and do his will, then we don't have anything to worry about. But it does take work, and that's what we're doing. And I love the direction we're going in. And I love the fact that he already chose us. Praise Yahweh. Love you much, family.
All right, praise Yahweh. We are actually at the end of the call.
Two more callers that's trying to get in.
Two callers that were trying to get in.
Be brief. We're gonna let you in.
Praise Yahweh. Welcome to Power Talk.
Praise Yahweh. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Praise Yahweh. It's Kezion Menashe out of Houston. I enjoyed Yahweh's information this morning. Such an important reminder. You know, he said after 2 days that he was going to revive us, and then the third day that he would raise us up and we would live in his sight. That is the Ark of the Covenant, y'all. That's it. It's not about a box that was built 4,000 years ago. The Ark is a spark of remembrance. You know, Yahweh's body is not coming back. You know, he's in us. And it's time for us now to raise up and walk in his sight. That is the Ark of the Covenant. And to do the things that he taught us to do and that he's guiding us to do. It's a different way of thinking and doing. Our healthcare situation, you know, we're in hell right now. This is hell. They have a healthcare system. They shoot people, you know, they give you shots in the bar. They give you shots in schools. If your kids in school, you have to worry about them getting shot. They give you shots when they, you know, it's just amazing, you know, what's set up and it's all an illusion. It's just a way of thinking. Their whole system is set up like that. Well, guess what? He raised us up to create a whole new way of thinking, which is what he created and gave to us, being renewed in the spirit of our minds. And instead of being individuals like they taught us to be, where they can abuse us and use us like batteries and suck us dry and build their thing, it's time for us to start thinking as family and come together and be an organized body of people who cooperate with one another and be a nation under his laws. And so this is the short version, but I really appreciated breakfast this morning. Thank you so much, Brother Lud and Tamar.
Praise Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for your comments. I thank Yahweh for the wisdom of his children that shared today. We have one more caller.
I'm going to try to
squeeze in.
Sister Kagith, are you still available to join us?
Hello, Bokuto.
Bokuto. Welcome to Power Talk.
I wanted to comment on Yahweh talking about Satan came amongst us to present himself, but I've just been distracted. I'm at work. So I'm just going to say Toda, wonderful class, always blessed and highly favored, and just truly, truly happy that I'm able to make the Saturday morning calls. Toda for you all hosting it. And I'll see you all next Saturday. Praise Yahweh. Love you, family.
Love you too, sis.
Praise Yahweh. And that
is the final thought.
Was the final thought. Praise Yahweh, family. That brings us to the end of this episode of The Unfolding Light. Please join us next week for another episode of The Unfolding Light. And now, if everybody will stand and face the east with outstretched hand, as we close out this episode with a prayer, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Makuteraka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Vashamayim Kain Ba'aretz, and Lekam Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosa Sol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And always remember, Yahweh loves you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh loves you, and so does the nation of Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Thank you for joining The Unfolding Light, presented by the Nation of Yahweh. If you have any comments or questions, please email us at info@thenationofyhwh.com. Follow us online at thenationofyahweh.com, theunfoldinglight.com, and at yahwehbenyahweh.biz. Get social with us. Follow the Nation of Yahweh on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do remember to pay Yahweh and yourselves first and don't touch it, as instructed by the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You can send your tithes, donations, and offerings to the Nation of Yahweh at P.O. Box 555-115, Orlando, Florida 32855. And be blessed continually, according to Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Praise Yahweh. Shalom, shalom.
Stop your crying. Stop your crying. It's gonna be alright. Stop your lying, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop worrying. Stop this worrying going on. It's gonna be alright, man. Cause you see, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here now. Well, he's a man with a wonderful, wonderful life. You'll be praying all night long. Well, cause you see, you don't know if you're going to get up in the morning now and lose your home. Well, cause you see, I got all these children going on now, and I don't want them to starve. And that's why you got to go and bow down to somebody who ain't God. A man on your job. Well, yeah. The mighty God is here now. The Son. I'm talking about the Son, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. So you can quit all this foolishness and going on, because we living in a brand new day. Well, stop your moaning. It's gonna be alright. that it's time to stop. Stop doing what you want to do. Start doing the things you're supposed to do. Get up off of your knees and be so good. Study real hard because he said you know you could. Well, be the way he wants you to be because he said he know you can. He want all the sisters to join together and be woman and all the brothers